The night she said, "If you don't want him, I'll take him." My sister has always wanted everything I had. Not similar things. The exact things. Same clothes, same shoes, same hobbies, same friends, and now my boyfriend. For years, I brushed it off as insecurity or simple sibling rivalry. But the night she whispered that one sentence, I finally realized the truth. She didn't envy me. She wanted to become me. It happened at Daniel's birthday dinner. At candlelit tables, soft jazz, romantic atmosphere. But all I noticed was my sister walking and wearing the same emerald dress I bought a week ago. She didn't own it. She borrowed nothing. She simply bought the same thing and wore it better on purpose. She always did. She sat next to Daniel, even though the seat beside me was empty. She leaned close, letting her perfume drift over him like bait. Her laughter was too soft, too rehearsed. I felt a tension coil in my stomach, but I stayed quiet. I'd spent my whole life staying quiet around her. Everything shifted when I went to wash my hands before dessert. I stepped back into the hallway and froze because I heard her voice, low and whispering. "I don't get why you're with her," she murmured. "A guy like you deserves someone confident, someone more like me." Daniel tried to chuckle it off. "Lily, stop. She's your sister." Then she said it. That sentence that broke something inside me. "If she doesn't want you, I'll take you." I felt the words slice through me like a blade. My breath caught. My hands shook. I realized at that moment that nothing about her behavior was accidental. This wasn't childish competition or craving attention. It was deliberate. A slow, strategic theft of everything I loved. Memories flashed across my mind like a slideshow of warnings I had ignored. My childhood best friend suddenly ditching me after bonding with Lily. The job she stole by copying my application essay. The boy in 10th grade who ghosted me right after she started talking to him. My mother always excused her. "She just admires you. Be the bigger person." But admiration didn't sound like what I heard tonight. Admiration doesn't try to take your boyfriend while you're in the next room. I stepped out from behind the corner. She saw me, and her lips curled into a slow, knowing smile, not a smile of guilt. A smile of challenge. That was the moment something inside me hardened. I wasn't the passive sister anymore. I wasn't scared of her anymore. I wasn't going to lose Daniel, not like this. When I sat down, she placed her hand on his shoulder. I lifted my glass calmly and said, "Lily, move your hand." Even Daniel looked shocked at my tone. Lily's smile twitched. For the first time, I watched my sister realize she wasn't going to win this easily. And she didn't like it one bit. People say patterns are obvious when you look back. They're right. My sister's obsession didn't begin with Daniel. It began the day she was old enough to point at something I held and say, "Mine." Lily grew up charming, beautiful, magnetic. The kind of child teachers adored immediately. The kind of teenager boys fell over themselves trying to impress. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one, the planner, the one who worked twice as hard and never asked for attention. Everyone thought she was perfect. Everyone except me. When I was 7, I had a pink doll with blue ribbons. My favorite toy. I carried it everywhere. One day, Lily cried because she wanted it too. My mother sighed, pried the doll from my arms, and placed it in Lily's hands. "She's younger," Mom said. "Be nice. Share." Sharing became giving up. Giving up became losing. Losing became normal. In middle school, I made a friend named Ava. We were inseparable until Lily inserted herself. Suddenly, Ava stopped calling me. When I confronted her, Ava whispered, "Lily said you didn't like me anymore."
A lie.
A simple, easy lie. High school wasn't any different. I had a crush on a boy named Ryan. I never told him, but I told my sister. 1 week later, she walked into our kitchen with his jacket draped over her shoulders. "He asked me out," she'd said.
Sorry.
She wasn't sorry. My parents praised her confidence. They told me to stop being sensitive. They told me she was just inspired by me. Inspired. Such a clean word for what she actually did. When I got a scholarship to a summer program, Lily showed up at the interview wearing the same outfit I had laid out the night before. She answered questions using nearly identical phrases to the ones I practiced. She got in. I didn't. But the worst pattern, the most dangerous one, was something I didn't understand until tonight. She only wanted things after I showed I loved them. Not before. Not randomly. Only after they mattered deeply to me. She didn't want my clothes, she wanted to be seen like me. She didn't want my friends, she wanted to replace me. She didn't want my achievements, she wanted my life. And now she didn't want Daniel. She wanted what I felt for Daniel. It wasn't love she was chasing. It was possession. For years I convinced myself she would grow out of it. That adulthood would change her. That she'd find her own path, her own identity, her own relationships. But tonight, I learned she hadn't grown at all. She just got better at hiding her intentions. And now she wanted the one thing I couldn't afford to lose. The first shift happened quietly. Not dramatic. Not obvious. Just small things that I didn't want to acknowledge. Like the day Daniel texted me, "Your sister said you're working late. Want me to wait to pick you up?" I wasn't working late. I never said that. She lied to him.
Why?
Then she started accidentally showing up wherever Daniel and I were. Coffee shops. The park.
The gym.
She always had an excuse. "Oh wow, I didn't know you two would be here." She always knew. One evening, Daniel casually mentioned, "Lily told me you don't like surprises. Is that true?" I nearly dropped the spoon I was holding. I never said that. I loved surprises. But Lily hated them. She didn't want him to know me. She wanted him to think I was her. Another day, I found Daniel wearing a cologne I'd never smelled before. When I asked, he said, "Lily helped me pick it." Something ugly twisted in my chest. I tried to be reasonable, tried to be calm. She was my sister. There had to be an explanation. So, I told myself I was imagining things. Until the night I invited Daniel over for dinner, and he arrived late, smelling faintly of Lily's perfume. He said he'd run into her outside our building and she'd given him a hug. A hug. She had never hugged him before. That night, he seemed distant. Quiet. His phone lit up 3 times with her name. He didn't open the messages, but he also didn't silence them. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. "Just tired." But I saw it. The hesitation, the confusion, the part of him that wasn't fully with me anymore. He wasn't falling for Lily. He was getting tangled in her web. She was good at that. She always had been. The final confirmation came a week later. Daniel and I were supposed to meet at the cafe near my workplace. I arrived early. While waiting, I overheard 2 baristas whispering, "Isn't that the girl who comes here with 2 different guys? Today she's with the tall one." I didn't think much of it until I turned around. There she was, Lily, sitting at a corner table with Daniel, laughing, touching his hand, leaning in too close. He looked uncomfortable, but he wasn't leaving. I walked out before they saw me. There are moments in life when your heart doesn't break. It freezes. It becomes cold, heavy, and hard. That was one of those moments. This wasn't rivalry. This wasn't coincidence. This was an attack. My sister wasn't trying to take Daniel. She believed she already could. Everything blew up on a rainy Thursday. Daniel and I had planned a quiet dinner at my apartment, something simple, just us. I had cooked his favorite pasta, lit candles, set the table. He was an hour late. Then, 2. No answer to my calls. No response to my messages. By the 3rd hour, my anxiety finally gave way to dread. At 11:27 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was Lily. No words. Just a photo. A photo of her on a couch next to Daniel. His eyes were half closed, exhausted, confused. Her hand was on his chest. My stomach twisted violently. I called her instantly. "Where is he?" She answered in a slow, syrupy voice, like she'd been waiting for this call all night. "Oh, he's fine. He needed someone to talk to." "About what?"
You.
Obviously. My throat tightened. "Where are you?" "At my place. You should come get him. Unless you want me to keep him." The line went dead. I grabbed my keys and drove faster than I ever had. Rain hammered the windshield. My chest felt like it was collapsing in on itself. By the time I reached her apartment, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely lock the car. I stormed inside without knocking. Daniel was slumped on the couch, awake, but dazed. Lily was sitting beside him with 2 empty wine glasses on the table. "What did you do?" I demanded. She tilted her head innocently. "Nothing. He came here on his own." Daniel tried to speak, but his words were slurred. She said, "You told her we needed a break." My blood ran cold. She had drugged the situation. Maybe not literally, but emotionally, psychologically. She had spun lies so tightly he couldn't tell reality from manipulation. I stepped toward her. "Get away from him." She stood slowly,
Smirking. Why?
"He likes talking to me. You're too dramatic for him." Daniel buried his face in his hands, overwhelmed. Something snapped in me. Years of swallowed pain turned sharp. "You don't want him," I said. "You want my life." "Because I should have been you." The room became dead silent. "You get everything," she continued. "People like you without trying. You don't know what that feels like. To always be second. To always be compared. To always hear how perfect your sister is."
Ich zerrte her, stunned.
"Lily, no one ever said I was perfect." "Yes, they did," she shouted. "To me, Mom always said, 'Why can't you be more like your sister?' Dad always said, 'She works harder than you.' Everyone praised you. No one praised me." I felt the ground tilt beneath my feet. "So, you tried to replace me?" Her voice softened into something almost broken. "I tried to be you." Daniel exhaled in disbelief. She wasn't trying to steal my life. She was trying to live a life she thought she deserved more than I did. But her next words ruined any flicker of sympathy I had for her. "And I would have succeeded," she said, staring at Daniel, "if you didn't show up with her today." Daniel stepped back, disgusted.
"We're done," he said.
"Stay away from us." Her face twisted into something bitter. "You'll regret this."
No, irraplia.
"The only thing I regret is letting this go on for so long." As we walked away, she screamed after us. "This isn't over. It's never over between us." But, for the first time, I didn't believe her. 2 days passed before Daniel finally told me the truth he had been hiding. We sat on my couch, a silent space between us, the air thick with tension. "There's something you need to know," he said quietly. My stomach tightened. "What is it?" He hesitated. Then, "Your sister kissed me." My breath caught. The world blurred around the edges. "When?" I whispered. "The day you saw us at the cafe." He looked ashamed, his hands trembling slightly. I didn't kiss her back. I pushed her away. I told her it was wrong. But she told me you two had fought. That you were thinking of ending things. That she was helping you process your feelings. I closed my eyes. Another lie. Another manipulation. Daniel continued, voice cracking. "I wanted to tell you, but she said you'd be angry at me for letting her do it. She made me feel responsible, like I had done something wrong just by being there." The truth hit me hard. Lily wasn't just trying to take Daniel. She was trying to break him. He took a deep breath. "She told me she loved me." My chest burned. "And I said I loved you," he added instantly. "I made that clear. But she said she'd wait for me to realize the truth. She said you always shared your things with her, and that I was just another thing." For a moment, I felt physically sick. Daniel leaned forward. "I'm so sorry. I should have told you earlier. But I didn't want to cause a fight between you two." "It wasn't your job to protect her," I said. "She crossed a line." "She crossed 50 lines," he corrected. He reached for my hand, and for a second, I hesitated. Not because of him, because of the damage she'd done between us. But I took his hand anyway. He wasn't the enemy.
She was.
"Tell me everything," I said.
So he did.
The secret messages. The late-night calls. The attempts to meet him alone. The lies she told about my feelings. The way she twisted every situation to her advantage. When he finally finished, I felt hollow. "She's not going to stop," I said quietly. Daniel shook his head.
No.
"She won't." So, what do we do? He looked at me with a resolve I hadn't seen before. We protect us. Not me.
Us.
For the first time in weeks, I felt a tiny piece of hope. But I also knew something else with absolute certainty. My sister wouldn't accept defeat. Not when she had spent her entire life chasing my shadow. And I was right, because the very next morning, she showed up at my door.
Crying.
Screaming.
Begging.
And then threatening. The knock at my door was frantic, violent. I opened it cautiously. Lily stood there, eyes wild, makeup smeared, hands shaking. "You turn him against me," she shouted before I even spoke. Daniel stepped beside me. The moment she saw him, her expression twisted. "You're really choosing her over me?" she demanded. "After everything I told you?" Daniel answered calmly, "I never chose you. You made all of that up." Her face went pale. "You told me you loved me," she whispered. "I never did," he said. "Not once." She looked like she'd been punched. "You're lying," she insisted. "You have to be lying." "I'm not," he said. "You need help. Real help."
Her eyes snapped to me.
"This is your fault," she hissed. "You always ruin everything for me. You always get the good things. You always win." I stepped forward, my voice steady. "Lily, I'm not your enemy, but I won't let you destroy my life anymore." "You stole my life first," she screamed. "You stole everything I wanted. You stole Mom and Dad's love. You stole attention, praise, opportunities." "No." I cut in. "They compared us. They made you feel less. But that wasn't my fault. And none of that gives you the right to hurt me." She stared at me, chest heaving. Then she broke. Not theatrically. Not manipulatively. She crumpled onto the floor, sobbing. Real, raw, ugly sobbing. "I don't know who I am without you," she whispered. For the first time, I finally understood the truth. Her obsession wasn't hatred. It was emptiness. She didn't want to be me. She didn't know how to be herself. I crouched down but didn't touch her. "You need help," I said softly. "This isn't normal. This isn't healthy. You need someone who can untangle all this pain." She looked up, eyes red and hollow. "Will you help me?" It hurt to answer honestly. "No," I said. "Not anymore. You have to help yourself." She flinched like I'd slapped her. Daniel spoke gently. "We'll support you from a distance. But you need a therapist. You need space. You need time." For the first time ever, Lily didn't argue. She nodded weakly. She stood up, walked away, didn't look back. That was 6 months ago. Today, she's in therapy. She moved out of the city. We talk sometimes, but only when she initiates. She's learning who she is without competing with me. As for Daniel and me, we healed. Slowly. Honestly. We learned that love isn't something you protect from others. It's something you protect from the wounds others leave behind. And my sister? She learned that you can't steal someone else's life. You have to build your own.